This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Discover the life-changing benefits of Meow Greens for your cat. Ever see your cat slowing down or having health issues and wonder, what can I do to make them better? Well, my friend, add Meow Greens to your cat's food for 90 days, and I guarantee you'll see changes that will amaze you. Greetings, I'm naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, inventor of Meow Greens, and I invite you to take the Meow Greens 90-day challenge. In the first 30 days, you'll see shinier coats and increased energy. By day 60, your cat will have a stronger immune system, less shedding, improved joint function, all due to the live nutrients that you've added to their diet. And at 90 days, they're going to have better digestion, reduced inflammation, improved heart health, and you may even have reduced their cancer risk. Fetch a free Jumpstart trial bag for your cat today. Go to trymeowgreens.com. Use promo code TRYMEOW. That's try, M-E-O-W. You discover the shipping. You don't have to change your cat's food to improve your cat's health. Just add a packet of Meow Greens.
Here's the problem with being 66. You should always put one more club in your hand. If you think it's 6, hit the 5.
And if 6 were 9, you'd be 99 years old. You'd look good for 99.
And if my aunt had different plumbing fixtures, she would have been my uncle. I don't know if we should talk about this any longer, because I don't know how long Abbott can hold his breath.
My fantasies might seem a little sharp and worn. I'm sure you've heard it all before. I wonder what's the right form. Love song written for you. It's been going down for years. But to sing what's in my heart seems more honest than the tears. I am curious.
What time would that be?
You wanna hurry up.
Where's the name of the place again?
I'm intrigued with us.
Oh,
Ain't this song a buzz?
2 nuns and a goat get off the train in
I
Cleveland.
don't care.
Dark Star Memorial Hour. And here we go with our first one of the afternoon. It says, this is Jared from the small town of Foston in northern Minnesota. I've been a longtime fan of the show. My best friend Zach, also from Foston, had his house start on fire this morning. And unfortunately, his dad, Kevin Haugen, passed away. I don't know if Kevin listened to the show, but he was a huge fan of Minnesota sports. And he also coached elementary basketball for a few years. So I'm sure Dark Star will be happy to greet him up in heaven. Please keep Zach and his daughters, Ronnie and Evelyn, in your prayers as they are in the hospital recovering from the fire. Thank you for everything you do, Common Antenna B. Our next one says, this Dark Star Memorial goes out to my dad, Jack Alton. He was born as William in Eau Claire in 1948. Before he even left the hospital, though, everyone was calling him Jack. That's what he'd be called for the rest of his life by almost everyone, except, however, the bill collectors, whom he could easily identify when they'd call and start by saying, hello, is William there? And I think that's deserving of, and give me 1 second, I got to get off the Dark Star page. I think that's deserving of a rim shot. There you go. My dad grew up on a farm near Alma, Wisconsin, before moving to Wabasha with his family at 7 years old. This is where he attended high school as a star tailback in football, and more than occasionally went hot rodding around various southeast Minnesota locales. Academics weren't really a focus, but he was proud of his diploma, which he says the principal, Mr. Boots, was more than willing to sign off on. Jack married my mom right after graduation. They moved to Frontenac. They had 2 kids, tried living the dream. Jack became a truck driver almost immediately and made a career out of it. That's where he got the CB handle Alley Cat, which is a story for another day. Alley Cat did take a break from trucking when he and my mom bought B. Wells Bar in Frontenac. My dad had a magnetic personality, and a party usually broke out wherever he stopped. B. Wells, no exception. He maybe even poured a round or two for some of your listeners between 79 and 85. Alley Cat's wanderlust got the better of him, though, and he returned to the open road. I was lucky enough to ride shotgun in the summers and saw the highways, byways, and loading docks of this great land with him. His declining health eventually ended his over-the-road excursions. In semi-retirement, though, he began hauling live freight as bus driver Jack in North Branch, Minnesota, where he and his second wife chose to live. The kids loved the alley cat. As all the running took its toll, Jack found joy in building a fire in his wood stove, working on his old junk, and having visitors. One activity he never tired of was taking out his pontoon to fish and relax. Jack certainly lived life his way and was always captain of a ship, in water or not. My dad was a lifelong Vikings fan from the first foibles in 1961. He suffered through 4 big game losses, 98, 09, and really every year like the rest of us. Many a perfectly good hat wound up in a fireplace or wood stove with the vow of never again. But just as hope springs eternal, so would a new ball cap. Ah, the memories. At heart, alley cat Jack was a people person. He was famous to most and infamous to others, most of whom included law enforcement personnel. When he was able, he would jump in to help others, mostly for the adventure provided. His rebel life and outlaw companions defined him. He was happiest when surrounded by both. We'll be celebrating the life and times of Jack Alton with drinks, laughs, and classic cars at Colville Park and Red Wing, July 12th. If you knew the alley cat, feel free to stop by. We'll save a cold libation for you. And for all the listeners to the Grom, here's a request. Pop open a cold one, turn on Hank Snow's version of I've Been Everywhere, and enjoy life. Jack knew that was the key to it all. Thanks for the opportunity to share with you, Common. Keep up the absolutely competent work, me boy. P.S. Give Dark the heads up that the alley cat is now prowling in his neighborhood. They'll get along swimmingly. Aloha Friday, Scott from Red Wing. And there you are with your Dark Star memorials for the day. I like the Dark Star Memorial Hour. I always have. And we not only take humans, but we take pets too. We've done them. We've had many pet Dark Star Memorial as well. Let's take another break. We're closing in on Victory Formation segment. That's coming up at 2:30. We'll tap dance after this break. Do we have another keyword today, or are we done with those? Do you have a keyword to try to put a grand in somebody's hand? What do you got for us?
Yeah. The Fan and BigDeck.com wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the word grand at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That's keyword grand. Enter it now at KFAN.com. Thanks to friends at Unreal, you can restock your wardrobe with Unreal Golf Apparel this year, just like Common. Register to win up to $1,000 in Unreal Golf Apparel on our contest page. One lucky winner will restock their closet with amazing golf apparel thanks to Unreal. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest to enter today.
And our friends from Unreal help bring you Tee to Green every Saturday. Tomorrow will be from the club at Golden Valley, formerly known as the Golden Valley Country Club, been in existence since 1914, designed by legendary golf course architect A.W. Tillinghast, who I think he has one other design in the state of Minnesota, and that would be the Rochester Golf and Country Club. We'll be there from 10 until noon tomorrow, and brought to you by Unreal, by the Minnesota Golf Association, mngolf.org, by our friends at the 3M Open. Tickets are on sale now. 3mopen.com. That's the number 3, the letter M, open.com. And also brought to you by our friends at Ping, Play Your Best, and by Second Swing. Go to ping.com and take a look at all the products they have to offer, and then you can get yourself fit for those products by one of the fitting professionals over at Second Swing. 2 locations. They're on East Hennepin in Minneapolis, and also located in Minnetonka near Ridgedale. One of our broadcasts will be from Second Swing a little bit later on this summer. We'll also be going back to Cragen's legacy courses. We'll be up there also. I saw this story on the Associated Press. It's elsewhere, though. Dateline Indianapolis. It says the NCAA is considering a proposal that would allow athletes and staff members to bet on professional sports and shift enforcement efforts to college sports betting and behaviors that directly impact game integrity. The Division I Council introduced the proposal that will be considered this fall and implemented if Divisions 2 and 3 officials also approve. The NCAA would still bar betting on college sports and sharing information about college events with bettors. Advertising and sponsorships associated with betting are also not allowed at NCAA championship events. The shift comes as the organization grapples with the growth of legalized gambling across the United States. Chuck Baker is the NCAA president, and he and other college sports leaders have raised concerns about gamblers tracking athletes on social media for their play, and there have been scattered allegations, including some earlier this year against programs involving betting. You know, if you get a kid to shave points, right, miss a couple of free throws when you need to make them, you can make a quick buck that way, I guess. Also, I don't know, I think another issue that's been raised is that there are athletes, I think, collegiate and professional, that have been threatened. There was a story about the Twins. There are players on the Twins that have received like death threats from disgruntled gamblers, and that's saying it kindly. I mean, these people are insane, and they'll, you cost me money, loser, and I know where you live, I know where your kids go to school, and such like that. Yeah. And it's like, really? And so you got that on top of that, but John Duncan's the NCAA Vice President of Enforcement. He says, the enforcement staff's sports betting-related caseload has significantly increased in recent years, and our staff, including our new sports betting integrity unit, has been effective in detecting and pursuing violations. Because bets by an athlete on their own team or own sport risks a lifetime ban from college athletics, by the way. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I don't have a problem with if you're a collegiate athlete betting on a pro sport. Doesn't affect, unless there's some way, and I don't know how it could. I don't know how it could affect the outcome of a game, and I don't think it can. So I guess you can vote. You can bet if you want. I do the fun. The Tenneby and I and Rosen and I will. I'll offer up some friendly wagers with the two of them, mostly done tongue in cheek, because the Power Trip, they like betting big money, big prizes. I mean, they're betting. I think they're betting $50, $100, a couple $100 on sporting events. So when I bet with Rosen and Tenneby, I'll do it for like $2 here, $3.95 plus tax, $4 here or there, because there's an old saying that I just made up: a fool and his money are soon parted. And I'm not against legalized gambling in any way, shape, or form. If you want to do it, knock yourself out. And I don't mind. I've said before, I've placed sports book wagers in Vegas. I've made money doing it. Hold on. And I like going to the casino. I like playing blackjack. I like playing video poker. I like throwing dice, spinning fortune wheel, doing those things. I just it's not like on my list of things I really enjoy. It's not near the top of that list, but I don't mind once in a while going to. When the last time I was in Vegas, now making a killing is all in the, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and making a lot of money depends what you think big money is, right? But I made 4 sports bets at the sports book.
Okay.
$50 on Colin Morikawa to win the Masters. He did not. I lost that 50. I bet $50 on Matty Stafford to win the MVP. He did not. I lost that 50. I bet $50 on the Buffalo Bills to win the big game. They did not. I lost that. But I did bet $50 on the Rams to win the big game, and they did. And that got me 700 large. And then I won 300 throwing, rolling the bones, playing craps. So that's 700 and 300 is 1,000. I invested, I lost another 150, so that's 850. Mm-hmm. Then I probably lost another 50 playing video poker and slots. So I made $800 the last time I was there.
That's not too bad.
Oh yeah. So it's like I'm a good gambler. I'm well, except when I bet with Rosen and Tennessee, I'm not. But I don't mind losing if I'm only losing. We do it for the bit. If we're losing a couple $13, $14 every once in a while, all told, it's not that big of a deal. But I would think they would. You know, it says the story started out with the NCAA is considering a proposal, and then somewhere it said they're grappling. Yeah, the shift comes as the organization grapples with the growth of legalized gambling across the United States. I think it's pretty simple. If you're a college player, well, now wait. So let's say you play basketball. Let's use the University of Minnesota, for instance, and you play basketball for the University of Minnesota.
Okay.
Could you bet money on a University of Nebraska versus University of North Carolina volleyball game? Why couldn't you?
I don't see why you couldn't.
You can't influence that. I don't think your bet is going to influence the game. So it should probably just be the sport you're in. That's what I would say, but that's neither here nor there. Let's take our final break. We'll come back. We call the next segment Victory Formation Hour. It's our favorite because, once again, we feel like we've had another winning week. And I think those that have listened all week would agree. So we'll do that. We'll come back. A couple of tie up some loose ends. We'll look at some odds and ends, and we'll do that on the other side of the break. Common Man program along with Kara right here on the Fan.
Check out our contest page now for your chance to win a pair of tickets to Summer Loud 2025, Friday.
Summer Loud
July
2025.
11th.
It's really loud.
At Somerset Amphitheater. See performances from Beartooth, I Prevail.
No. Beartooth is going to be there?
Yeah. I Prevail, Parkway Drive, and more. Head over to our contest page to see how you can win today. That's KFAN.com keyword contest.
That sounds like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends. What I might want to do. Couple 13, 14 past. I was this is the prime example of why I've watched more non-major golf this year than I probably have in the last 20 years combined.
Okay.
Here's your headline. Knapp shoots 11 under 61 for Rocket Classer, 18-hole record, marking fourth tournament record in 2 days. I mean, it's like, it would be the equivalent of me going to like Lily Putt. You know, I can go to Lily Putt and I can go low.
Right.
I've made hole-in-ones in miniature golf before, have you? I mean,
yeah, of course,
I've got a whole collection of them.
Right.
I'm really good when it comes to miniature. So this is really no different than miniature golf. I mean, these guys are serious. These guys are so good. And so they've worked on it their whole life. The dirty little secret is golf's really, it's hard. But when you have put the time in that these guys have, the best ones in the world,
right?
It's a skill set. You know, I'm a golf guy. I'm the unofficial ambassador to Minnesota Golf, and I admire what they do, and I enjoy the U.S. Open, and I love the Masters, and it's all well and good, but they're so good. When you have fairways the size of the state of Montana, very little rough, and if it's not thick at all, and you got big sprawling greens with pins without a lot of hazards. When the courses are like the Detroit Club or whatever it's called, Why even bother? I guess because they figure Detroit people must turn out to watch those events there.
Right.
They need to hold them somewhere. But it's like Jake Knapp shot an 11 under 61 to break a Rocket Classic record that stood for, wait for it, less than a day, becoming the first PGA Tour player to break 60 and shoot a 61 or lower in the same season. Now, the Knapp kid also won up at Craigan's. You know, they've done that Canadian tour. It's not Canadian tour now. Again, it's like, is it called the Americas Tour? I should know. I'm up there all the time. But he won up there in Brainerd. Knapp broke the 18-hole record at Detroit Golf Club that was set Thursday in the first round when Aldrich Potgieter and Kevin Roy both shot 62. Here's what Knapp said. I feel like when I start making birdies, I want to make more. You're not the only one. I think anybody that plays golf, when you make one birdie, you'd like to make another. He says, I was even kind of thinking about 59 when I stuck it close on my third to last hole. He was even thinking about 59, which has only been done a handful of times.
Yeah.
On the pro tour. But I love golf. They're going to need to toughen that up a little bit. That's even more like the TPC of the Twin Cities. When they do the 3M Open there, those numbers get pretty low. And they do what they can to toughen that up. But these guys are just too good. Dang it. Maury, send it again. I just lost it. Did I accidentally delete it? No. He was sending me a bit that I was trying to find, and now I just can't find it now anymore. God darn it. I don't know what happens to me. I'm really technologically inept is what I
never knew that.
Is what I'm trying. Funny stuff. Oh, you start to loosen up a little bit now, huh?
No.
Get deep into the show and suddenly let's start picking on Common. Start picking on the boomer who's technologically inept. I see. I get it. You've turned on me.
No. I mean, I did have to help you reset your password the other day.
I didn't want everybody
I'm sorry.
to know that.
I'm sorry.
Now you're embarrassing me.
I'm sorry. I take it back.
Well, no, you can't because it's accurate. It's what happened. I couldn't change my password. I mean, I thought I did everything correct.
Yeah. I mean, I watched you. It wasn't 100% your fault. Something was wrong with it for sure.
You're just saying that.
No, I'm actually not
No,
because I watched you type it in and then it didn't work. And then I watched you type it in again and it worked. I don't know what happened there. Did you find it?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm technologically inept. I can't even check email anymore. I'm just so bad. We'll see how if this bit has. God darn it. We'll see if this bit has any legs at all to it. I'm so annoyed right now. I know this is not good, but I'll try it anyway.
What are you trying to look for?
Well, I got an email up here, but I can't get, then there's the list of all the emails that come in, so the screen is split. Okay, you're a journalism major, right?
Yes,
so I'm going to give
yes.
I'm going to give you a journalism test.
Okay, I'm scared.
And let's just see if you can pass the quiz. I'm going to give you some journalism terms, and then I want you to tell me what it is. Don't be cheating over there.
I'm not.
You're on the computer. You're going to cheat. Here's your first one. Dateline.
That's just the thing at the top. It's your date and where it's at.
No, it's a show about murder mysteries.
Okay, so okay. Horrible show.
Copy. Journalism terms. Copy.
Like copywriting or just copy?
Copy.
Like copy editing.
What is copy in journalism?
It's just like it's editing. It's making sure that everything is backed up.
No, it's what someone says over a walk. what somebody says over a walkie-talkie when they heard what you said. It's not going very good, is it?
No.
What's a subhead?
It's the description underneath the headline.
No.
It's like an excessive headline.
No, it's someone who's fascinated with submarines. He's a subhead.
So dumb.
Broadcast.
Oh, I don't know which way you're going with this.
That's what Little B would wear if she broke her elbow while arm wrestling. Broadcast.
That was a good one.
This isn't senior staff writer's best work, but it's not bad. Okay, the next one. Lead.
I don't know what route you're going with this.
It means you're in first place.
Okay.
You're supposed to just answer the real one.
Yeah.
And I give the punchline.
Yeah.
Don't worry where I'm going with it.
All right.
Circulation.
Just how the article circulates, how the article reaches people, how it does.
No. It involves how well your body moves around in your blood moves around in your body. Circulation.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That part.
Maury said, I can get you this in 15 minutes. It took him 15 minutes to write that.
Wait, what?
He sent this. It took him 15 minutes he said, I can get you a bit in 15 minutes. And I'm making fun of him saying, it took him 15 minutes to write that. Do you follow? No?
Yeah, I follow. I'm here.
Yeah. Last story I see here that, and we've talked about this before. This story's kind of been out there, and it's taken its next step. Dateline, Lenexa, Kansas. It says the Kansas City Chiefs have requested an extension to an end of June deadline for a stadium financing package from the state of Kansas. An indication that the NFL franchise's potential move across the state line from Missouri is a legitimate possibility. Chiefs President Mark Donovan requested the extension yesterday in a letter to Kansas State President Ty Masterson, a copy of which was obtained by the Associated Press. Donovan explained that the Chiefs had made significant progress on plans for a new stadium development, but that more time is needed to bring the full effort to fruition. The Kansas Legislative Coordinating Council scheduled to meet July 7th to consider extending the incentive deadline. A story goes on to say, Masterson did this in a statement. He said, the letter from Mark Donovan indicates that the drive to bring this historic project to Kansas is moving down the field. He's using a little football parlance there. Now that we are in the red zone, this extension will provide stakeholders sufficient time to ensure the ball crosses the goal line. I would immediately cancel any move if this is how the guy's writing it. This is about the cheesiest stuff I've ever read. Chiefs and Royals have played for more than 5 decades at the Truman Sports Complex on the east side of Kansas City, where Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri, that's important, where Arrowhead Stadium and Kauffman Stadium share parking facilities, but leases with Jackson County are due to expire Jan 2031, and the two franchises have been trying to plot a course for years. Last year, Jackson County voters defeated a sales tax extension that would have helped to finance an $800 million renovation at Arrowhead Stadium, home of the Chiefs, and a $2 billion ballpark district for the Royals in downtown Kansas City. Taxpayers said, no, we don't want it. The voters have spoken. And so, again, Kansas City now, the Chiefs, maybe the Royals are going to be eventually in on this as well, but the Chiefs right now are basically calling the bluff. Okay, you don't want to help us fund it? Maybe we'll move across state lines, and we will. And it wouldn't be a far move; it'll be just across the border, and they'll decide to go ahead and build a stadium there. Now, again, somebody with a better education than me would have to be able to answer all this. I mean, if it's literally, because aren't they talking about moving it? It's not like it's halfway across the state, right?
No, it's really close.
If it is, it wouldn't affect ticket buyers. You're not traveling any further. I guess it would just be taxes paid.
Isn't technically downtown Kansas City in Missouri?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so...
But they're talking about moving it to the state of Kansas across the border.
So then just not downtown, basically. They're just going to the suburbs.
Well, I think they're moving it to another state. You have Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas. They're two different places.
Yeah.
They're moving it out of Missouri. They're moving it to the state of Kansas.
Right.
So I mean, I guess technically that could be suburbs, I guess. Yeah, because they border each other. But they would move it out of the state. It's very controversial. Mm-hmm. And this is the fear.
The drama. That
people have when it comes to the sale of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, Lori and A-Rod again stated they have no intentions of moving the team, that they want to be here forever, and they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't want to do that to the fans of Minnesota. They want to be the part of the Minnesota legacy. But I'm sure the Kansas City Chiefs said all of the same things as well. And when it comes to the universal language, money, it changes the conversation completely. And suddenly your loyalties to a state or a city, they can be just cast aside at the drop of a hat or the drop of a dime. Because if the taxpayers say, we're not going to help you with the renovations of your stadium, then you just say, okay, well, we're not going to pay for it ourselves, so we'll just take our ball and go home. And that's what they're threatening to do right now. And they're moving, as the guy said, the letter from Mark Donovan indicates the drive to bring this historic project to Kansas is moving down the field. Now that we're in the red zone, this extension will provide stakeholders sufficient time to ensure the ball crosses the goal line. So taking their ball, going home. And Lori and Rodriguez said, well, we're not in really any hurry. To build a new stadium. Matter of fact, we can do some renovations to start. But eventually they're going to want a new stadium. And I've yet to find, I think there's been an owner or two. Hasn't there been a stadium or two that has been solely funded by the ownership themselves? I think it's happened. It's rare. It doesn't happen often. I'm almost certain that's happened at one time or another, where they'll say, well, we'll fund we've got plenty of money, and we're going to make plenty of money off the deal, and the new stadium is going to increase the value of our franchise. But I understand when you have the ownership groups, they made a lot of money. And by making a lot of money, they make it by making smart business decisions. And I think anybody would say, if you have to pay full price for something, or half price, which would you rather do? Well, you'd rather pay half price. If owners can pay half the price by getting the taxpayers to foot the bill, that's what they would do. Now, we'll have to take, and the comeback is always, and Rosen had it the other day, whereas and I think 10 to be 2, and many others, what the comeback is, it's legitimate, where it's, well, the owner, the rest of the owners in the league, they don't want a team to leave. They want expansion franchises, which is true. But if a franchise currently in its current city and the city won't cooperate, you got to eventually call the bluff of the taxpayers. If they just say, no, we're not going to do it, and then you just go, well, I guess we'll have to build it ourselves, then all cities will start doing that. Well, look what they did over in Kansas City. They built the stadium themselves. Why can't you build the stadiums themselves? And so the teams know they need that leverage. They'd rather not have the team relocate. They'd rather have a team. They don't want the Minnesota Timberwolves to go to Seattle because they can get an expansion franchise in Seattle, and everybody understands that. But if the city won't cooperate, they have to send a message to all other markets around the country that we're playing hardball here. If you don't help, we're moving. Here's This one is the Clippers owner funded his new stadium. And this one says Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft funded 100% as well. Another text message came in that says, it's like the Vikings moving to Woodbury. Who cares if it's Kansas? And I guess that was the point we were trying to make at the very beginning of this, is that I don't know how much. I guess the people that would care, though, is there are tax dollars generated in Missouri, in the city of Kansas City, when that stadium's there. If it's across the border, the state ain't collecting none of those taxes anymore. So the ticket buyer's not going to care, more than likely. Yeah, I get that. But all I know is that's going to hit, and then, of course, there's the businesses that on game day, and I'm sure Arrowhead they probably have outdoor concerts and such like that. They have other events than just 13, 14 football games a year. There are businesses around that stadium that thrive when those events are there. Those events aren't going to be in there more. So, yeah, it won't matter to the ticket buyer who goes, I got to drive an extra 20 minutes. For some, the stadium might be closer to them. But I think it's another reminder that when push comes to shove, and they that's the race in the hole, to use a gambling parlance. We talked a little bit about gambling today. That's because they've got the team. It's their team, and they're going to do whatever they want with it. So keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it here in Minnesota. I think Lori and Rodriguez, at this moment, as they speak, truly believe they want to keep the team in Minnesota. And they need it. And maybe because they've got the former mayor of New York, Bloomday, Ron Bloomberg, whatever his name, and they got another tech guy that's got a boatload of money too. Maybe they'll just say, let's pool our money together and build it ourselves. That would be wonderful, but don't hold your breath on that. Carrie, you did a wonderful job today.
Thank you. You too.
I think you were, I was just adequate, but I appreciate the compliment. Thank you very much. We're going to be back on Monday. Don't forget, Tee to Green tomorrow, live from the club at Golden Valley. Stick around. JG, Brett Blakemore, they're next year on The Fan.
Good night. Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.